Content. It is what everyone is either creating or using in their marketing efforts. Tonight, we're going to go over a little bit about what that means, what kind of strategies you can implement. But more importantly, I want to hear about some of the ways you've been marketing your content. Stay with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Video Call-In Show, that show that invites you to be a live video guest on this program to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Variety of subjects covered every Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of which I will be here for about an hour. Joining the show is real easy. All you've got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on Join a Meeting, and enter in that meeting ID. When it asks for it, you will show up in my green room and I will bring you up. First come, first serve. Like I said, as many as I can within an hour. I am Jim, your host of the Video Call-In Show. Been doing this for about 10 months now. Loving every minute of it. And tonight, oh, by the way, if that's content that sounds good to you, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. If you've got a way for notifications like YouTube, ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. So tonight, the subject matter is content promotion strategy. Now, as a lot of you know, I've been doing marketing for the better part of my career, actually the majority of my career. And I would say 90% of that in the digital landscape. Yes, I have done some terrestrial marketing. Over the years, a lot of print, some radio, some television. It's arguably more than 90% when I start thinking about it a little more deeply. But yes, I have covered a lot of it. Started out web developing years and years ago, before web marketing was even a thing. I was web marketing, and I don't need to go into that sort of thing. But tonight, I want to talk to you folks. I want to talk to, because most of the people that I get on my show are fellow content creators. There's no question about that. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Love every one of them. Now, what we all have in common is a bit of, I would say challenge in getting our content in front of the right people. Well, I'm going to go over what I see as a very high level look at how you should approach. Really, this is any marketing, not just digital marketing, but it really helps. It really should help you kind of wrap your head around some of this murky waters that we call marketing, because it's not an exact science yet, although it is extraordinarily trackable nowadays. In fact, we've got more ability to track our marketing efforts than in the entire history of mankind. That's not to say that the snake oil salesman didn't know how many bottles he was selling. When you're selling to faces unseen, the first thing you want to know is how effective was your marketing in getting in front of those people and actually converting them to a sale. To that point, tonight's show being brought to you by Champer Interactive. Now, this is my company. I've been a digital marketer and a lead generation expert for the better part, like I said, well, since 1994, let's just put it that way. And I help businesses understand, one, how to maximize their marketing, the digital, especially the digital landscape. I wouldn't say that I am a brick and mortar expert, but I have, in fact, one of the services I provide is actually advising people on how to handle leads once they actually have a lead. Is what you'll find. And most of you who work for corporations, perhaps in marketing departments, the first thing you'll find is that leads are coming in, but nobody knows what to do with them. Well, that's one of my specialties. I can help you understand and convert those people into sales, which is what we're all looking for, right? But tonight, I'm just going to go over a few things. I want to say hello to, actually what I want to do first, while I'm saying hello, is I got to open up another panel over here, but this is all for me. Don't you worry about it. Welcome one and all. We're gonna go say hello to those folks in the YouTube chat. Raven the Commentator 2001, how are you? Good to see you again. She says on the subject of content promotion, there will be a new episode of Raven's Jukebox coming out this Friday. There you go. There you go. That was shameless self-promotion, and I love it. Oh, it will be on the Changing the Arts program channel, so look for that change up. Northern Ohio Railroad Action, how are you? Good to see you. Susan Hamilton, I saw you over at Ed's place. I didn't get to say goodbye because I came over and I had some work to do, and I never reopened Ed's live stream. I apologize for that, but good to see you, Susan. Crap, my dad makes me watch. Adam, always a pleasure to have you in the show here, bud. Wendell Live, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Excuse me. We also have Catherine Cook. What's up tonight? Well, this is what's up tonight, Catherine. I hope I've explained it well enough. I'm going to go into those details. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to climb on board, whether you're watching it from any of the other platforms or YouTube specifically. Climb on board and we'll talk about your efforts, or you can ask me questions after I'm done with my my little, I don't want to call it a presentation. I want to be kind of relaxed with this. I don't want to get over anyone's head. I don't want to make it more complicated than it needs to be. This is going to be the 30,000 foot view, but it's something you always have to consider when you're thinking of, well, let me just hang on. Let me finish that of this, and then I'll get into it, because the first one is actually it explains exactly why we're talking about what we're talking about. David the producer, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Ghana, sup, banana? Not inappropriate bananas. Thank you, Ghana, for that fine fruit. I appreciate that. All right, so when I put this together, the one thing here's the backstory. Most of you already know, but for those of you who don't, those of you who are watching this after it's been recorded, what you'll know about me is, yes, I've been a digital marketer for the better part of my career. What I haven't been necessarily is a video content marketer, right? In that I know how to market my videos for clients, but when it comes to this sort of content creation, I've had a lot to learn. So I'm literally learning as I do this. Like I said, I've been doing this for 10 months, the show specifically, and it has given me a great deal of experience from behind the camera, but also from promoting it. It's that same scenario, cobbler's child has no shoes because they're too busy fixing them for others. Well, that is exactly the case for me. So I decided, one of the reasons I decided to do this was to actually get in the trenches to learn exactly some of the ins and outs. And what I found was twofold. One, there are a lot of techniques that cross over, and I mean a lot of techniques. And when I started thinking about what sort of techniques cross over and how many people don't even realize that those techniques even exist, or even how to formulate a plan around a promotional strategy or marketing strategy, I thought, you know what, I need to give them the 30,000 foot view, because this will help you, even if you've already created content, to step back and say, well, have I answered these questions? Have I looked at it from a broader perspective, the big picture, if you will? And I developed these actually a long time ago. Content isn't just video content. It could be audio content, textual content. It could be files. It could be any of that. And the overall that I developed for it, I call the who, what, where, when, why, and how of digital marketing. And then you could actually apply this to brick and mortar marketing as well. But there are literally things you need to kind of look at. Let's just do this as you're putting this together. So content marketing. Now, the first thing, whenever I'm looking at a marketing initiative, is whether it's for myself or a client, you've got to ask yourself why. Why, right? What are your goals here? I mean, whenever someone is marketing content, the goals are usually varied, but I'll say that most of them are geared toward a return of some sort, whether that's a sale, but it also could be just information dissemination. It could be a support program so that you're actually helping someone from that. It could be a service or product, a real service or product. But you've got to ask yourself, why am I even going to create this content? For what purpose? Now, I'm going to use this show as an example throughout this. And I have a feeling that most people are going to be watching rather than wanting to come on and comment. That's fine. That's cool. Or even ask questions. Remember, you can get in line if you ever have a question and you don't want to come on the show. Make sure that you tag me in the chat so I can see it come up, and I'll try to answer it as well as I can and as quickly as I can. All right. So once you've established why, like I said, I'm going to use this show as an example. This was a twofold project for me. One, I wanted to entertain, and two, I wanted it to become a self-sustaining entity, right? Well, I've already attained one of my goals, and I'm still working toward the other. But I have answered my why. That is literally the goals behind the reason I decided to start this venture, the Video Call-In Show. By the way, folks, if you're just joining us, joining is real easy. If you got questions and you want to come on and live and talk to them, all you got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on join a meeting, enter in that meeting ID number, and you'll be in my green room, and I'll bring you up as soon as I possibly can. All right, so once you've answered the why, the next thing you've got to do is figure out what, right? What type of content is going to augment that why? What sort of value will that content bring to my audience? And do I have a plan to ensure that content is sustainable? In other words, I can't just create, well, I mean, that's not necessarily true in all cases, but most of the time you want to continue to create content toward that goal because things do get stale and you don't want to be left in limbo. And especially on the web, when you're looking to get in front of folks, when you don't have fresh content, it tends to stagnate. It tends to die on the vine. You don't want that. So as soon as you figured out why you're going to do it, now you've got to figure out what type of content. Each one of those three you've got to outline those. How is that? I'll use this as a scenario. Remember, my goal was to entertain. Type of show. Well, it's just going to be an entertainment show. I'm going to get on. I'm going to talk. I'm going to have some subjects. I'm going to have some guests on. Hey, entertainment. What value does that bring? Well, the value is relative, obviously, but the value that I saw it bringing to the table is the entertainment value. I mean, there's always value in entertainment. Otherwise, we wouldn't even seek it out. But also, I figured I could help solve some problems. I could talk to some people. I get to value on my side, and I get to meet people I would never get to meet otherwise. And yes, my plan was my format. I literally outlined this format well before I went on the air, and had as many of my ducks in a row as I possibly could. The only thing I didn't have was a very good persona on camera, and I don't even know if that's the case now. But but I was doing everything I could to have everything set up in place without getting lost into analysis paralysis, which is a complete danger. And you've heard it from all of the people that tell you about creating at least video content. Just do it. Don't wait until you think you've got everything in line, because you never will have everything in line. So, but I was being a little more anal than normal. I did exactly that. I waited and I got everything in line. So then once you've got all that nailed down, you've got to figure out, who is your audience? Who is your audience? It doesn't make any sense at all to market to an audience that you haven't defined yet. Now, my audience, using the show once again, my audience is kind of unique but it's also niche when you think about it. I think that this sort of a show appeals to those people who, one, enjoy the traditional call-in shows. Those have been going on as long as radio and television, or I'm sorry, radio and telephone have been a thing. It's chocolate and peanut butter, right? That is my primary audience. But not only that, my audience are you folks, the folks who can't come up to talk, the folks who like to engage in call-in shows. It goes a little bit beyond that, in that there's a whole lot of audience type members, I'll say, that don't even know that they like this sort of show. So my goal here is to find those people, and I've done a lot to do that. We can talk about that if you guys want to. But let's just say that I have identified my audience as far as I know, and I am doing everything I can to market well, everything I can within the hobby realm to market to them, because I do have to put food on the table. Now, it's one thing to identify your audience. It's a whole other to figure out where the heck are where is that audience? This is the where. Where do you find those people that you've just identified? If you're selling widgets, where do you find the people who are buying widgets? If you're doing, I'll use Jim here. If you're doing videos on drone footage, where do you find people who enjoy drone footage? You've got to identify those. And in some cases, when you're doing it from a keyword perspective, you've got to find them in that. You've got to understand what it is they use to find you, or might use to find you. And that's where keyword phrase research comes into play a great deal. Don't ever discount keyword phrase research. I'll plainly admit that my tests on YouTube have underwhelmed a great deal, and I don't want to get off on a tangent. Hey Ed, how you doing, man? Flash Raid. All right, thanks to the whole Flash fam, all you guys that came in. I've been rambling, Ed, so bear with me here, bud. I'll try to say hello to the folks that I missed came in earlier. But like I said, I've been sorely disappointed in the way that the YouTube search engine has worked, and even more so because I know that it's being at least augmented by Google. I'm here to tell you, and I've actually tweeted out a couple videos that illustrate this. The YouTube search engine does not work, from my perspective, like the search engines of old. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. There's going to be a whole host of tricks that I'm hoping that we can talk about to get around that, because I'm not the end all be all of information. I know what I know. I know what I've done. I know where I've been. But I am that old dog that can learn new tricks. So I'm interested to talk to you folks. Maybe some folks who have actually cracked some of the code on their side. Okay. Yes, the 15,300 words you can't say on YouTube. Well, that is a part of it, Jim. And that was Jim from Above and Beyond Drones on YouTube. That is absolutely a part of it. But anyway, having said that, you still have to identify where these are, even if it's a web property and you're trying to optimize the site to get in front of people who are going to use the keywords, your audience, who are going to use the keyword phrases that are relevant to your product, service, business, or information. You've got to research that and find out where your audience is. Also important in this, and arguably not nearly as, it would be a timing issue. Marketing is all about timing. And I include this because, one, you need a win, but it's also relevant when you're looking at your competition. In today's world, with as competitive as it can be, it's very, very important to be ahead of your competition. Today, we have the advantage of being able to immediately be in front of our competition. Hope that didn't blow any speakers. I apologize. In that, we were able to optimize, see results much quicker than, say, create an entire new billboard campaign and have to wait months for that to come to market, bear fruits, and all of that. So take advantage of that as well, and know that it's critically important, because here's a great example. If you're killing it in the search results, whether it's for a web property or a video content area, that's fantastic, but guaranteed you're not going to stay there. So you've got to be on it at all time, and that's again where timing comes in. Now, last, and I wouldn't say least, but it's certainly extremely important, is the how. And you've got to ask yourself how much time and money are you willing to invest in order to gain the audience that you want? I mean, this goes back to your why. What are your goals? If it's a monetary goal, you're going to have to do real math. You're going to have to find out what each one of your leads is worth, what each member of your audience is worth, what each sale should be, and how often that sale should happen in order to keep you afloat, and how much of that profit you can actually steer toward marketing, because you've got to keep that funnel full. I can't tell you how many businesses I've watched die on the vine because they didn't understand the sales cycle. They didn't understand that you've got to keep that sales funnel full. I don't care if 90% of them aren't buying what you're selling. You've still got to hit that 90%, and you've got to hit the next 90% and the next 90%. Otherwise, those 10% that keep you afloat are not going to happen. That's true when you're talking about content marketing as well, because you can't rely, you can't sit on your haunches. Is that the right term? Yeah, we'll go with it. And expect for your audience to grow on its own. So you've got to go out and you've got to make that happen. So that is the 30,000 foot view. Remember, that is the who, what, where, when, why, and how of digital marketing. I do not have a patent on that. I do not have a copyright. Feel free to use it. More importantly, feel free to ask me questions. My email address is at the bottom of every one of my live stream videos. You're more than welcome to hit me with questions and even comments. Let me say hello to a few more people that I missed during my my spiel here. I noticed that Luke Duke Outdoors, how you doing, is in. He's a part of the Flash Rate. Hello, Laurel. Welcome to the show. We've also got Patty Broussard. Good to see you as well. There's Pia. How you doing, Pixel Pia? Teaching and Learning. She was on last night. New Orleans girl. Good to see you. Tony from Viewed This. Welcome back to the show, bud. Always a pleasure to have you. Of course, Above and Beyond Drones. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see all of you. Who have I missed? Emmanuel Goffey. How you doing, buddy? Good to see. Ohio Relic Hunter. Howdy. He's part of the Flash Raid. Thanks for being over here, bud. And again, Ed, thanks so much for the Flash Raid, man. That's fantastic. I can never get enough of those. It's always a wonderful thing. I need to raid more. I'm so sorry to my fellow creators. I get done with the show and I'm like, okay, I got to do stuff now. But one of these days I'll get back on that. Jesse Mendez, how you doing, brother? Always good to see you. Digging with Deej, welcome to the show. American Gold Prospectors, how are you? Hey, Scully's House of Thrillers, how are you? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Outdoorsy Gal, oh, there's Chrissy. Hey, Chrissy, how are you, babe? Good to see you as well. Okay, so it doesn't look like you guys have any questions for me, and I'm feeling a bit lonely here, but hey, that's okay. Awesome Epic Adventures, how you doing as well? If I missed you, go ahead and make sure you tag me in the chat, and I'll address it, because I got none but time now. I mean, we're 23 after. I'm sorry that I have to do that sometimes, and that's go over shows like this, or at least yammer on forever. Hey, we have a guest. Awesome. Now this gentleman actually said he was going to call in, and it might be audio only. I'm going to guess this is audio only. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing, man?
Just give me a sec.
Sure. No problem. We got nothing but time, man. Nothing but time. Let's see. I just saw something. Okay. Scully's House of Thriller says, as far as value goes, show them what they need to do, and then show them how for a price. Yes, exactly. I've always said that it's extremely important to answer your customer's pain, and that sounds harsh, but when you think about it, a need is a pain, a want is a pain. Solve their pain, and you will go far in making that 90-10 even better. You just tell me when you're ready, Brad.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Let me. I got to call up the the radio style. Brad, how the hell are you, man? It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Now, did you find headphones or are you off headphones?
Nah, off, but I might go camera in a minute. It's just hard to hear on the speaker.
Oh, okay. Okay. No problem. Just let me know, man. I'll pull up the other one.
No, that's all right. No dramas.
So,
Um,
what's new and exciting?
eh, well, it's hot as always.
Did you have a question by chance, or do you want to talk about uh, content promotion?
Yeah, I think it's more about just the content promotion and what I do. I mean, initially the channel started just doing videos, just us just traveling around up here, and I found they weren't getting a lot of traction view-wise, which looking back at it now, it makes lots of sense as to why. So that's why I then diversified, I guess, and started doing different stuff. Doing drone-only videos, doing 360 only videos. Doing that sort of stuff to open up eyes on the channel, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's actually that's a point I didn't hit, which I probably should have, and that is looking at feedback. You've got to look at the marketing feedback and the cycle, and when something's not working, you've got to make adjustments. Everything okay over there?
And I think part of it as well was like I'm not in it to get money out of YouTube. I'm in it just to have some fun, put some videos out, just general learn a new skill as in video editing and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I'm not keen on that. But it is nice to see views coming in and comments and subscribers, but it's not my be all and end all. But changing what I did opened up so many avenues for promotion and to get the channel out there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, and that's not uncommon. In fact, when I'm talking about marketing in general, a lot of times we'll start out the other way around. We'll start out broad. Let's say it's a shoe manufacturer. We'll start out not completely broad, but we won't hone in on specific models or something until we see what the numbers show us. What you're talking about is trying something first and loving that sort of feedback, but then realizing that there you can broaden it and appeal to a larger audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even sort of finding variances on the audience as well is, I think that I like that sort of a challenge. Not just smashing the link into every drone forum I can find, but um, is there a local thing up here like in Darwin that I can publicize the video into? That sort of showcases the area more than showcasing that it's a drone video. So that sort of stuff is where I find that a challenge, and I like trying to find new ways to get it out there.
Yeah, and I think that was brilliant to kind of change focus from, because you've got that in your pocket. I don't know how many uh, drone pilots or even drone content creators you've got in that area. That to me sounds like the perfect niche, right? You're alone in the field.
There's a couple of guys up here that I've found and stumbled across on YouTube, but I think they just enjoy just sticking a video out there, and that's sort of the extent of it. Any traffic they get is a bonus.
So they're
But I like.
go ahead.
I do like trying to chase those views though, but I don't like chasing those. I don't know, I'm a complicated person, I think, sometimes when it comes to YouTube.
Oh man, you don't have to tell me. You know, I am too. And by the way, viewed this as you've never looked so good.
Tell him I brushed my hair.
I like how you've shaped your voice bubble, man. That's awesome.
But the good thing is, like, once again, the good thing is like I said, finding variation. So I've found a lot of non-English speaking sites to promote the videos onto, such as VK, um, OK, and Weibo, and I think so. VK is Russian. I think OK is Russian. Weibo, I think, is Japan or China.
Hmm.
I've found a lot of various different sites, and I'm lucky because I don't speaking. I don't. There's no speaking on my videos, so I can get away with promoting them, and all the people are doing are watching the visual side of it, not having to listen to the audio. So like I said, I try doing different things, different avenues to get eyes on the channel.
That's really cool, and that's actually a good lesson for a lot of folks who may feel like they're in a rut from a content promotional strategy. If because you never know where your audience is going to come from. I don't know that mine would port that well. I don't know that mine would port that well, but I can see a whole bunch of people in the chat where some of theirs really would, especially if you worked on translations.
So Scott Fichter did a great video a little while back, which is how to use YouTube to auto-translate your videos, obviously into English. You then clean up that file and make sure that what you're saying is what the text replies back with. And then you download that file, take it into a translation site, and let that site translate all that into different languages. I do have a couple of videos where I do have a bit of speaking, or I do have something which I want translated. I've translated like into 10 different languages in 5 minutes and got that up. Does it help me? I don't know, but it does help, I guess, from the promotion side of it. I can go to those sites and offer them a translated version of my video to be able to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to feign ignorance here. When you supply several translations, because I haven't tried that on this channel, I didn't think it would work, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, it might work now. But do you see any? Is that segmented out in your analytics?
Yeah, you can see if someone picks a different
Different language.
Subtitle or closed caption.
Okay.
I think it's got 2 words but the same thing. But yeah, you can see if someone has toggled the translation to another one, because I've done it on a few times where I've watched the video back myself, and changed it just to see what the analytics. Yes, it does show, what language they're watching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I knew some of that, but like I said, I haven't done it myself, but I thought it was available, and it's good to hear that it is, especially for those people who it may be very pertinent at this point.
If you got a short video, 5-10 minutes sort of thing, give it a shot. I mean, what's the worst it's going to do? It's going to take up another 20 minutes of your time sort of doing a translation. But that's the extent of it. No different to what you're doing now. Like I said, once you get that file, that English version of the file spot on, yeah, you might get a few words wrong in Russian. And then I've done that once before where when I do the Russian sites, I translate to Russian my description and all that sort of stuff, and then post that into the channel. I think I said it's somehow translated to go and get on the bus or something like that. And some Russian guy picked me up on it, and he's like, "Hey, Google Translator, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you got me."
Oh well, you and about every Chinese product manufacturer who are writing manuals, I guess.
Yeah, aren't they great?
I've never understood how fine, run them through a translator, but for the love of Christ, find somebody who speaks the language to proofread.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I've got a video that's still, I haven't released it yet. It's just sitting there on the channel waiting. But part of the video is I've flown around an area, and what I do is I try to give the history of the area in the subtitles. So I'm trying to trick a bit of interaction with the video, if that makes sense. And I fly around, and in the bottom of it's like, this used to be an old army area, actually, in the subtitles. And I thought about hard coding it into the video, but then I thought, well, no, if someone doesn't want to watch the words, they just want to watch the video. How am I going to get them to turn it off? So I put the subtitles in. They can turn it off or on, but also, like I said, it's a trick to try and get an interaction back with the video, which I believe YouTube does like.
Yes.
But I've also now translated all those subtitles into different languages as well.
Interesting.
So you can watch it back in Russian and see the Russian subtitle come up for what I'm trying to explain is happening in the area. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But it's something different.
Well, how long have you been doing this, Brad?
I've done there's a couple of videos where I've done it, and I definitely always translate my title and description into different languages as well.
Well, yeah, but how long have you actually been doing that? Because I know you've been creating for a while. When did you start doing the translations?
What about I think about the last 3 or 4. I'll have to look at it and
Okay.
confirm, but I'll have to look at it. But I think I've sort of snuck it in occasionally,
Well,
but not really advertised it.
yeah. Well, it'd be really interesting to see how the data falls out on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out when to release that next video. But I think I did it even with the Soul. I think I did it with the Solar Cast. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. I can't remember. They're all the same. but yeah, definitely look at different things and different sites. There a lot of sites I don't. The traffic from it might be 1 or 2 views, but you never know. I found there's I use a program called, an app on my phone, I think it's called Hello, Hello.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one called Minds, Minds, which I've promoted in. Trinding, Trinding. I've sort of started doing it in that.
Mm-hmm.
Drum It Up, DRUMM. But the trouble with Drum It Up is to link a video, you have to watch 2 other videos on the site and like and comment and all that sort of stuff. So I don't use that one as often. But there's lots of different things out there to promote on. Facebook is great. Like, I've only just got on Facebook in the last month or so after being black banned from it.
One of these days, we're gonna have a show wrapped all the way around that one, Brad.
yeah, that's an interesting one. But like just all the drone forums that are there. I think I got for the last video I did where I was flying around at Wago Beach or whatever it was called, the military one. I got that up to that video got up to like 800 views in 2 days. Now for me that's not normal, but because of the Facebook side of things, and then smashed it into Reddit groups and drone forums as well. There's heaps of drone forums which Jim hopefully knows about, and he's doing his videos in there. I get that up to 800 views in a couple of days. Now, whether they're quality views though, that's the other side of it. That's the downside sometimes of the promotion. Is yes, you get a +1 on a view, but you're getting 30 seconds, 35 seconds on a watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of stuff, I guess, kills you a bit too.
Well, and I've said this for a long time, that those of us who are doing video creation, whether it's it could be any of the platforms, but specifically YouTube, it's always a good idea to have a Google Analytics account, not AdWords, but Analytics account tied straight to your YouTube channel. That way, you can actually start parsing some of that information, especially when you've got a different source. When someone hits your video from one of those forums, for instance, you'll see what their behavior was from that forum and kind of gauge how valuable or not valuable that actually was. So
yeah. I think I've got that set up. I need to sit down with you one day and have you walk through me to make sure I've got it right. So,
okay.
but yeah, that's that's downside, I guess, is the promotion is you get useless watch time out of it sometimes.
That's true. That is true. It's part and parcel of the game, though. It's up to us to both get them there and to keep them there.
Yeah, and actually, that's a good trick that I learnt the other day. Is you don't share the actual video link. You share the link of the video in a playlist. Does
Yep.
that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah.
So rather than sharing the link to the video, which only gives you that view of that one-off video, and then they could disappear off into the YouTube abyss because of up next, you go into a playlist that you've got that video in, you copy the link from that, and then it keeps that viewer inside that playlist.
Or it can. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So I've tried that a couple of times.
That's a good tip. That is a really good tip. And it's better than embedding as well. Because once you have somebody watch a video on someone else's property, it doesn't get as much love, as I understand it, from YouTube as it does if you get them over to the platform. Because that's really what they want. They want eyes on the platform at all times. That's where they make their money.
Yes.
So, well, dude, we could probably talk about this all night.
Have you got someone else?
I do. I've got your bro, Jim from Above and Beyond Drones wants to talk.
What I'll do, give me 2 seconds. I'll put the camera on and I'll show you what's on it here. Because I think, is Chrissy in the chat?
Chrissy is in the chat.
I'll put the camera on for a second so she can see what's going on around here, because she likes to see what's going on. So give me a sec.
All right. You let me know. Oh, there it is.
Let me flip. How's that?
Oh, man, it's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's the big.
So we're in the. I've been down here a couple of times, so we're in the middle of the build up. So we're starting to build up to the wet season, which is why you're starting to get clouds.
That is nice, man.
The next couple of months, it's going to start raining up here in the middle of summer, and raining very hard. So that's why we're getting clouds now.
Oh.
But other than that, it's still 35 degrees and bloody hot.
Bloody hot. That's Celsius, folks, for those of you who didn't do the math.
What's that, about 92, I think, Fahrenheit, 95, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I've never been good at that conversion. 90 is, yep, 90 is hot though.
Yeah.
That's beautiful though, man. I envy you. We're in the middle of 50 degrees Fahrenheit on average per day.
I can see that.
Yeah. Here I am in my light fleece, but starting to see the leaves change and all that kind of thing. Actually, they've exploded in the last couple of days.
I don't even have any cool weather clothes anymore. It's just that hot up here.
Wow.
I think I've left them all in Brisbane, to tell you the truth.
Well, it does get cold there, doesn't it?
Well, cold in Brisbane is still, 20 degrees every day.
And that translates to
20, 40, 70.
70? That's nice.
I think to work it out, you double it and add 30. So it's around that 70, 75. So Brisbane's not exactly cold either.
Yeah. No, those are my ideal temps, though. Right in the 70 range.
Yeah. Well, come to Brisbane.
One of these days, man. One of these days.
Give me 8 months to move back and you come over.
Is it 8 months now?
Yeah, July.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. Well, best of luck on that. I hope it works out. I know it didn't work out last time, but I know you want to go back.
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They're talking about making Susan fly in, fly out. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for the second tour, man. That is beautiful.
So next time I'll get down the main street, I'll see if I can do an interview with someone just for the hell of it.
That would be fun. Oh, maybe I'll have another one of those Ask Jim Anything shows, and then you can be my my correspondent.
Oh, that'd be a hoot.
It would. Would you like to ask Jim anything? Brad, thanks, man, for coming on and for those actually valuable tips. I'm actually going to look more into translations now, just for whenever I have the time, just for the fun of it and nothing else. But who knows? I may put it into practice, dude.
Yeah, give it a shot.
I will. All right, buddy. Have fun. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll be back at base in a sec.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye. That is actually a good tip. I don't know, since my show is such a long format, and when I say long, you know, it's only about an hour every night, but that is every night, and that could become overbearing, right? So I don't know. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, Chrissy, I didn't get to ask those questions, but I'm sure Brad will jump back in the chat and answer them for you. Yes, those trees are in the water, actually. I did see some folks come in. Who was it that I saw pop in? I want to say hello to. Grumpy Vlogger, how you doing, Lloyd? Always a pleasure to have you here, brother. Always a pleasure. Brad Ariels, good to see you. Throwing some bananas out for Ghana, I'm sure. All right, let's do this. Let's bring up my next guest and see how this works. I gotta love this, man. This is such an easier time of it. Jim, can you hear me yet?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
Just see how fast that title transition was.
No, I was too busy watching the Zoom box here.
That's okay. I'm just having fun with myself, man, because I you know how I struggle with it. Somebody comes on, especially when it's a repeat visitor. I
know you've got them all in Excel now, so
yeah, I got them all on a list. Well, better than that. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Not share, but where is it? If I bring this guy down here, I'm asking a lot of this. I'm going to show the interface.
Can't you just take me off and show it?
No. This is it. This is the interface.
Right.
Now, when I go to choose, see, I get to choose anyone in that list, and that is a list of all the people who've been on the show. How cool is that?
You know what? You're so good at this that you can read the chat, and I watch you laughing at what I type, and you still are paying attention to the contestant.
The contestant. I like that. The contestant. You know, it's been suggested more than once that I perhaps turn this into some sort of a game show.
You know, sometimes we do like to have fun.
Oh yeah. Well, Jim, how the hell are you, man? I don't mean to throw all that stuff in front of you. You're the one that's important here. What's going on, dude?
No. I just really want to piggyback what your conversation was, and Brad really has tried, man. He started his own group on Reddit, and I've joined that and tried to get some traction off of throwing video. But you know what? Is it possible for me to show one thing for a second?
Yeah, I believe I've got that ability turned on.
All right, let me. What do I just? It's giving me all kinds of things that I can share. Now, what they do? Change Zoom?
No, they shouldn't have. It'll look at all the different. Yeah, it'll look at all the different sources that you have.
All right, can you see this page here?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Let me bring that full screen here. There we go.
I literally turned around and shortened my videos because, you know, they're of construction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they've been being watched by a state representative because they brought a big lawsuit against us for having, since the city did not have their part finished here, you can see it in dirt on the left, they got fined $475,000. So everybody wanted to see the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had these videos up for a while, but look at the time. I shortened the video to 1 minute and 50 seconds,
mm-hmm.
and they can't even watch that.
Oh,
they
man.
can only watch 1 minute and 19 seconds of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
And look how smooth that drop-off line is. I mean, there's no cliffs. To go scroll up a little bit.
Up, where do you want to go?
I want to see the lower part of that interface here on there.
Oh, this is the time, like how many hours? That's the first 5 hours, and then that's the first day.
Yeah, go down. Let's see the little graph below that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go, the audience retention.
Yeah, so how long do they really hang on?
Well, there's no cliffs there. Right? Yeah, there's no cliffs there, so you've got people diving out on a regular basis, right?
Yeah. So how
That
many actually watched 50%? 1 minute and 25
half of
seconds.
them got to a minute 25.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's bad though, at all.
It's-
Well,
You get
where does the meat and potatoes happen in that video?
the whole point of this particular video is that they don't have the road finished. You see,
Uh-huh.
it's not paved here.
Okay.
So the city got fined $475,000 for not doing their end because the federal government, this part here alone, people alone, cost $28 million to make.
Oh, and I've seen those goddamn things before. I hate those intersections.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the second one in Florida. It's called a diverging diamond intersection.
Yeah.
Actually got a cross traffic.
Yep.
Through a traffic light now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a traffic light.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell you do it, but for not having this part paved, the city got hit for a $475,000 performance bond.
Oh, wow.
Now, who gives a crap because the road goes to nowhere? There's still a whole field that has to be bought out. Let me get off my video now so we can go back to you. That
I'll
has
merge
to
you
be
back
bought out. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Oop. That was me. Let's see. There we go.
Get rid of that.
Yep. Now we're back to good.
The point was, there was so much hype because I guess the local state representative saw videos,
Mm-hmm.
then looked at the contract and, hey, why is it not paved? And it was supposed to be, and the city quietly paid a $475,000 performance bond fine because they did not perform by a certain time. You can be fined
Mm-hmm.
because there were federal matching funds involved.
Right. Well, that's interesting, but still, the
With
drop
all that
off.
interest,
Yeah. Well,
you
the
couldn't
drop
even
off
get
though.
them to watch.
Well, the drop off though, I didn't see it as being that. I can almost understand it because now I haven't seen the video yet, but you're just literally a bird's eye view,
Yeah.
probably going the entire length or what have you.
I just show the 2-lane road it's going to go to. The whole project is only 1.6 miles to the interstate.
Yeah. Do you think they're getting in there and saying, "Okay, we get it," and then that's when they drop off?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because like any other city, they bitch about the roads like it's nothing.
Mhm.
People will literally go and buy a piece of property on the worst road they can because the lot is cheaper.
Mhm.
Then once they get in there, they bitch to the city about the roads. Oh, we need to pave the roads. This is literal, man. If you look at the city of Palm Bay, it's not a joke because we just passed a new, 1998 we passed one, and now we just passed a new one, a roads bill
Mhm.
that gets taxed onto every homeowner.
Yeah. And well, that's so true. Even off the coast, because think about some of the farmlands, and there are still a shit ton of gravel roads out there. People will find an old farmhouse, they'll fix it up, and then they'll bitch at the county to get somebody out there to pave it. I mean, it happens all the time. When I was doing real estate, I literally got my boy into a place on a gravel road because they had an old farmhouse that they wanted to buy, and they didn't have to do anything. They just came through and paved it. But the story is that there was a lot of people that pissed and moaned about it.
Yeah, I just get it. And I literally hate Facebook because it's a place where the dumbest human beings on the planet congregate.
Dude, you could say that about Twitter. You could say that about. But that's like the world in general. Who was it that said the universe and stupidity is infinite, and I'm not sure about stupidity or something like that. Yeah, I wish I could remember that quote because it's beautiful.
Probably I'm not sure about the universe because stupidity is infinite.
Right. Infinite. Oh man, yeah, but you're absolutely right. Oh, what do we have there?
Oh yeah, there are so many lessons to learn. and 3,200 changes in Facebook's algorithm last year alone. 15,300 words you can't say. You know it's a 40-page book, right?
Oh
You've got
man,
that
yeah.
booklet?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've got the booklet too.
Yep.
Now I was looking at, and anybody can look this up, it's under Google AI, where they actually take your thumbnail and it takes the angle of your head. It decides whether you're smiling or not. And it's automatically deciding whether this is a favorable for 13 and under group or not, just by a thumbnail. You haven't gotten to the video yet,
Yeah.
where we all know the actual tags are coming down in value, and that's per YouTube Insider.
Yeah.
But you still have to match your descriptions with the video tag, right? The video title
Yeah.
and the description still have to coincide with each other.
Yeah, that's just good practice, right? It's got to
Yeah.
be relevant and it's got to be keyword phrase rich. In other words, those keyword phrases that people are actually searching on, use those. And yeah, they should sync up. One should benefit the other.
It's so hard to try and make what I do interesting in the first damn place.
Tell me
It's
about
exciting
it.
technology. You know, I can sit there and take pictures of your house being built and measure the pipes.
Yeah.
I have a GIS program that'll tell you exactly where the pipes are in space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, but to put that into YouTube, it's just like, who the hell's going to watch that?
Right. That's a tough road. That is a tough road.
But you
I feel
have
for
to
you, man.
have that. You have to have videos up so that clientele can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're still trying to stress the point that, hey, I can live stream to you at the same time. You can watch it on YouTube while it's happening.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Do you do that for a lot of people?
I work for development companies mostly.
Oh, okay.
And so that's not a lot of people. They may show it to their clients, but I don't get any benefit from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot I've been doing wrong that you told me, and I guess Brad talked about it again tonight. I have been posting my videos on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, you mean embedding them in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't feel too bad about that because that does drive a lot of people to YouTube and you get credit for it. But you're just, it's one of those things where I've always looked at it as better safe than sorry. So, and I do the same thing. Whenever I promote this show, it's a link but it's not embed. But there were a couple of them where you could actually watch it off platform. I don't think it's as big a hit. It's just kind of, better safe than sorry. Link to YouTube rather than embed it.
When you do the link, are you then making up your own thumbnail to post, or when you
No,
put a link in, does it?
I use the same thumbnail that I use for the live stream or the
Okay,
guest cut.
so
Yeah.
you see, I make the thumbnails with TubeBuddy right on the video when I'm posting in YouTube.
We should be
So
able to download those.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I don't, but I need to.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I do all mine. In fact, I'm getting ready to put out a I wouldn't call it a tutorial, but it's a behind the scenes look on how I put together my thumbnails. Just on a whim one day, I decided to record myself doing my thumbnail.
You can't have these shows enough, because even though all these big YouTubers do them and all that,
Mm-hmm.
they blow through it so fast that none of it's retainable, and they know that it's almost clickbait to get you to watch them.
Yeah. And their goals are different than ours, Jim. I mean, they literally want to make a living at it immediately and just keep people interested. I've gotten
Oh
away
my
from a lot of
God,
those.
the video you posted the link to the other day, I watched that man, his 47-minute video.
Yeah,
Jim, I was blown away.
it's brutal.
And how he cannot be more angry, I don't get it.
Oh, I know.
The guy who started Firestart, what is the name of that?
Oh, was that was it Firestarter or Start
Fire something.
Start Fire Start? Oh, man.
Anyway.
Yeah.
He literally showed, guys, where his income went in half or less in 2017. Millions of views. And they took 500 of his videos, which had millions of views themselves.
Yeah.
Demonetized them. Oh my God.
No warning. No, you have to go in and try to get each one of them remonetized. I mean, it's just
he
horrible.
spends money making the videos.
Oh yeah.
He spends real money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's got a crew. I mean, he's gotten to that level where he's got a crew. Max Gene Woodley, Kervinsky, Medi, welcome to the show, but this isn't one of those sort of sub exchange things, so try not to do that, huh? It'll actually hurt you more than it'll help you. That's why they're timing you out. So just sit back, enjoy the show, engage. If people like your content, they'll sub to you.
We usually do anyway. We always go and check each other out on here.
Oh yeah. That's one of the reasons. That's one of my marketing. I didn't get to talk about it, but that's one of my content promotion strategies on YouTube, is to actually get in front of people who don't know I exist, don't know my show exists. Because you know how this is, Jim. You're a drone guy. I've got prospectors in here. I've got just a whole wide variety of people. There's no niche necessarily. So
Varied audience, yeah.
Yeah, so I just try to get in front of as many people as I possibly can. If they dig call-in shows or they want to get involved, then hey, so be it. But man, I am so not going to trade subs with them to do so.
Well, again, I have a friend and Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger, knows this man. He buys YouTube likes, or what do you call it, subscribers and views.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's buying them. So he's 1,030 now.
Oh, wow.
He's going to get rich.
Wow.
He has 1,030 subscribers. Okay. What are you going to get? 16 cents? And you can't take it till you get $100. So.
Right.
And it's clearly evident, because if you use Social Blade, guys, you can see if a guy only has 150 videos up and only 30 people are watching his videos, how does he have 1,000 subscribers? And you see YouTube plus 10, minus 10,
mm-hmm.
plus 10, because YouTube keeps taking them off.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that is a losing proposition. Absolutely losing proposition. I don't know why people, I do know why people do it. I don't know why they haven't gotten the word.
Yeah, right. Yeah, someone's got to tell them, hey, just getting over 1,000 is not the golden ticket.
No. Well, the only reason, I've said this several times, the only reason I want to get over 1,000, number one, is to get that community tab. That way I can stay in contact with more people more time, most of the time. But I'm, I don't, monetization doesn't appeal to me at all at this level. Not at all.
Well, I never used to do what the things that you look at. I never used to look at the live, and I never used to look at trending.
Mm-hmm.
But because of you, I've started to kind of look at those things. And I do see that the community tab, once you get over 1,000, you'll get a community tab that you can actually use.
Mm-hmm.
There is a whole playlist row that comes across them in my home page when I come onto YouTube.
Yes.
So there is a benefit, like, hey guys, I'm going to have a show about, or you can put a poll in there or make suggestions.
Yep.
You can have a different kind of contact with your audience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I pay attention to a lot of them. Fortunately, YouTube doesn't restrict you to like those channels that you've rung the bell on. I mean, they'll show you, like, if you've visited a channel a lot, even though you may not have subscribed yet, they may throw one or two in their community posts in there, which is great. Same way with if you've subscribed to them and you haven't rung the bell, you'll still get some notifications every once in a while. So that's really important to me.
Yeah, and on the other half of that, I've turned around and said to myself, gee, I haven't seen Jim in a while. Why is that? And I'll go and look, and I'm unsubscribed from your page.
Yeah, I know.
That stuff still happens to this day.
To this day. I still have to check. I'm probably like you though, Jim. I'm on my homepage a lot, the what I would call the recommended page.
Yeah.
And I kind of know Like for instance, this flips me out. I try to watch Ed every chance I get, flash in your pan. And I can't tell you how many times in the last month his Tuesday show has not even shown up on my recommended page. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm there all the time. So I always have to go back and check that I'm subscribed and bell's rung. And of course it is. It's like, how does that work?
I didn't get notified that Ed was on tonight, but he was in the left side panel as being on now, live now.
Oh, okay. Well, see,
but I didn't get notified that he was on.
Yeah, just the opposite with me. I had all kinds of different other channels that were live because I see a lot of live programming. At the head of my recommended page, Ed wasn't up there, but then as soon as he went live, I got notified.
Wow.
Man, I can't help but think, after all the years that I've been dealing with search engines, I can't help but think that there are serious problems with this YouTube search engine. I mean, serious problems. And I'm not talking about
making so many changes that they're only going to worry about it when they're done making them all.
I think it's gotten away from them.
Yeah. Okay. That's easy to understand.
Yeah. One, I think they lost their way, right? The whole idea was to serve relevant content to those most likely to want that content. Then they got into the bias game. Now, and then they're doing what you're talking about with the image recognition and kids and
it's serious, man.
Yeah, and I think it literally has just gotten away from them. Because you imagine programmatically that's a huge undertaking, a search engine that large, second only to Google, giant, and I think it's literally a runaway freight train, and we're all along for the bumpy ride, waiting for the end of the tracks.
How long before that clashes? You're doing an AI of the thumbnail, then your AI reviewing the video. The two have to clash. The thumbnail doesn't always coincide. If I just put a picture on of me, and if you look on Social Blade, my channel is a C+ classified as a travel channel.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell have I got to do with travel?
Nothing.
It's construction and technology, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. They're probably so busy with break fix that they can't work on those small details that they should. Remember, I've had this discussion a bunch about the categorization of videos.
Right.
Mine didn't fall really anywhere. I mean, well, actually, it falls in like 2 or 3 of them, but you can only choose one. That pisses me off.
And yours still isn't listed as anything as a channel identity on Social Blade.
I know. So I'm thinking that they're so busy with break fix and stupid modifications, fixing shit that's not broke, that they're not able to pay attention to the foundation, and that's why we're seeing things like that. I don't know. It's a theory, man.
Runaway.
Yeah,
there must be too many techs in their ears.
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. I'd imagine.
Yeah,
not enough chefs. Mm-hmm.
They all want to impress somebody with this newest, latest, greatest, and you're breaking something that's not broken.
Yeah, I can see the meetings now, right? They're all talking about an issue that they need to address. That issue takes priority. Everything else gets put on the back burner. Oh, it's broke. Well, we'll get to that after we take care of the primary, or the latest of these changes we need to implement.
And you and I are just striving to get to the point to where they might recommend you. That's the best we can hope for at this point, is they might recommend one of your videos.
Yeah, and I think that we're at a huge disadvantage because of what we just talked about. They're not recommending. Well, this again is from my perspective and perhaps my opinion, but I don't think that they're able to sort it correctly because of what we just talked about. So it's the chances of us being recommended are even lower. Now, that may not be true if we're all in bathtubs, with cereal all over our bodies, but that was a shot to all those stupid ass videos that end up on trending. Yeah. But it is true for just a ton of creators that are putting out great stuff and never getting exposure. And
it really is the companies and the corporations that are going up there. I'm purposely looking now because of what you've said and what that, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's Starfire, whatever he started.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and Brad laughs over here and says, "Do you want to play a game?" I'm listening right now to the movie Enemy of the State from 1998.
Are you really?
Yeah. And we're doing that technology now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're in your cell phones. They're in your. Don't get me started.
I know we could go on about that for hours too. um, but Jim, we're 10 after the hour. I was going to bring
Oh.
Ghana, but she's dropped off. Ghana, you could have hung out, girl. I would have taken you up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. This is an interesting subject, and like I said, I could talk about it for hours, literally for hours.
Well, because we never know which way to go, do we?
Right. And you know what really ticks me off, Jim? I'm going to get on a small soapbox here. Most of you know that I've diversified. Tonight, let me look here. I am streaming. I didn't stream to Facebook tonight, but I'm streaming to Twitch, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope. Periscope for the first time tonight. I have 0 views on all of them. Now, when you go, well, except for YouTube, when you go to any one of those competitors, for lack of a better term,
right,
first thing you'll notice is the shows that they show you are always the most viewed.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense from probably a revenue standpoint, popularity standpoint, if you want to keep people on the platform, but it does nothing long term. And what really bugs me about that is that they don't think long term, right? Unless they think that the cream is going to continually float to the top.
How are you helping the up and comer?
Yeah,
striving to get to the top. Make it 50-50.
Right. Figure out something that is a more equitable distribution of eyeballs, and then let the cream float or sink. That's what I would say.
You're making billions. Why can't you?
Yeah, exactly. But they're all the same. I wish I was a 28-year-old with boobs. I'd be doing great on Twitch.
Yeah.
And it's astounding, really, the content that you find out there. But that's like anything else. Sex still sells, always will.
Yeah. But apparently, people will sit there and watch some other idiot play a game.
Yeah.
Crash Thief or whatever it's called, or Ghost War or whatever. They'll sit there and watch somebody else play a game.
I'm all for gamers doing what they want to do, but I just never could understand that. I used to love playing games, but I don't know that I'd enjoy watching somebody else play a game.
I might go there to learn how to play a game or certain game,
Yeah.
find some secrets out about it. But that's not what these channels are about. They're just about hanging out with their friends, and the guy coming in on chat, and they'll curse and scream. And
Yeah. And that is another good point, though, because now that I think about it, I really had a good time watching Not a Great Gamer. And I have watched Raykit a couple times. He's a pretty big gaming YouTube channel. And I don't watch PewDiePie, but the commentary makes it fun. Not just watching a screen that I could see if I was actually playing the game. But that's a tangent.
Oh, but that's why you would come here.
Yes.
The conversation and the commentary.
Yes, you heard it here first. Thanks for the plug, Jim.
Well, it's why we do come here, and you've got solid regulars.
Oh, I do, and it's fantastic.
And we put the word out. I know I do. I know Lloyd does. I know Brad does. I'm positive Ed does.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, guys, I can't name you all. I don't know everybody's.
And I hope you guys know how much I do appreciate that. I try to do the same thing. I just tweeted out Ed's show and somebody's earlier today. I mean, it's not so much working together. It is I really want people to see what I'm enjoying. So
I think on Twitter is a more fair basis because I'll actually see what you tweet. They don't care. They'll post everybody I have connect or I'm following.
Yeah.
I'll actually get that string coming through. That's a good thing to know.
Oh, I'll give that to them for sure. And I'm no Twitter fan, but I will give that to them, Jim, because I see the same thing. Absolutely. Oh, what did Jelly Doug just tell him? Just point out?
Thanks for pointing that out. Congratulations.
Hello, Jelly Duck. Oh, he congratulated me on 900. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And welcome to the show, of course. All right, Jim. Oh,
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Ghana says always talk you up, Jim. Well, thank you, Ghana. And man, you do some great artwork. Did you see that the artwork she did of the Sunday's show, last Sunday's show?
No, I only see the one that you do at the end of the show.
Yeah, at the end of the show. Yeah, she did some fan art. It was actually a whole bunch of people who were on panel. I might have been your mic drop night. I don't remember if it was or not, but
oh my God, that night.
I think it was actually.
You shocked me, and that's hard to do.
Well, if you're not following Ghana, follow her and check out that image, man. She's she's a good artist. I love what she does, and she did one with about 4 or 5 of us on a panel, or not a panel, but a montage, or what would you call it, collage maybe? But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I do follow her. It's just that there's not enough time in the day to get to everybody's videos.
I know. Well, this isn't a video. This is a tweet.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a tweet. So look back at her history and you'll see it. It's awesome.
I'm going to jump off and let you finish up. Thank you very much for listening.
Oh, dude, anytime. Jim, you know that. Thanks so much for coming on. I learn something from everyone that does come up. So appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I do like to, like tonight's conversation with you and Brad was good too. There was a couple of tips in there. I like that.
Yeah, I'm starting to think more about. I've thought about the translation forever. It seemed like I never had enough time to dive into it, but I think I'm gonna check it out and see if it's even right for me. But hopefully somebody else got something from that too.
If that would be a lot of work. God, if you had to do it, it would be hell.
Oh, if I have to do it, ain't getting done. Dude, I've got, I counted it today. Tonight makes 462 videos. Yeah. In 10 months. There's no way in hell I could transcribe those manually.
Oh.
I wouldn't even want to do this one. You know what I mean? It'd be, geez, take me forever.
They're too wordy. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. I'll catch you tomorrow night.
All right. Have a good one, Jim.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be in the chat.
All right. Ghana, I'm sorry, hon. I didn't, I wasn't going to push you off. I was actually going to bring you up. Stay a little later. That's fine. But we can do this again. This is not, you guys have been here before. I've actually talked about this subject a couple times on this channel. I will talk about it again. And like I said, if you guys ever have any questions, it doesn't matter if it's a different show. If you guys want to ask me a question in the chat about something that pertains to digital marketing, I am more than happy to address it. Don't know everything, but I know a lot. And I do want to say before I leave, said Two Family House Homestead, how you doing? Good to see you. I saw some other folks pop in. Did I not? Of course, Jelly Duck. Good to see you as well, Ahmed. Thanks for the congratulations on that 900. Heritage Farms, Texas. That was the other one I missed. If I missed you, I apologize. You know how that goes. It's one of those things where my attention is split in so many ways when I do one of these shows, but that is part of the fun, honestly. And I hope you guys take it with good spirits. That if I miss you, I don't mean to miss you. I can't think of anyone who's been in the show that I don't really appreciate having been here. Even those folks who don't know what to do when they get into a chat room. It happens. People learn. Some never, but often they do. Now listen, tomorrow night, speaking of subjects, tomorrow night we are going to ask the question, what did you want to be when you were younger? That should be an interesting conversation. I want to hear from you. I don't think you can figure out what I wanted to be when I was younger from that photo. I'll show you again. I don't think so, but hey, maybe we'll turn that into a contest. You guys can guess what that is, because I've already had a couple of guesses. But listen, thanks so much for being here. I hope you guys got something out of this. Doing this sort of impromptu presentation is not my forte. I'm so much better one-on-one because I am so passionate about this sort of thing. So passionate about it. My whole goal is to make sure, and this is going to sound like a shameless plug because I'm going to throw my my company back up there. But my entire goal is to make sure that the companies that I work with to augment their marketing have a true return on investment down to the dollar, reportable down to the dollar, and that's what it's all about. If you guys know me at all, this is a subject that is very, very close to me and dear to my heart, and I love to see people succeed. So, but hey, enough about that. Make sure you do join us tomorrow night. Those folks of you joining us after this has been processed, make sure you like, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe. And most of all, ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. But more than that, make sure that you treat others the way you would want to be treated. If we all did that, this world would be a fantastic place. Once again, I appreciate it. Good night, and we will see you live.